Welcome to the Logistics of Logistics, a podcast dedicated to exploring how things get places and the people who get them there. We'll talk with logistics and supply chain leaders about innovation, industry trends, and the future of the logistics business. Now, here's your host, Joe Lynch.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Logistics of Logistics. My name is Joe Lynch. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, I'm talking with my friend Dawn Salvucci Favier from Greenscreens, and she's got some big news. Dawn, please introduce yourself and your company and where you're calling from today.
Thank you, Joe. Hey, everybody. My name is Dawn Salvucci Favier, as Joe said. I'm the CEO and Chief Product Officer at Greenscreens.ai, and I am calling in from sunny South Florida today.
Oh, very nice, because it is snowing up north. So what does Greenscreens do?
So Greenscreens.ai is a predictive pricing platform for the truckload spot market today. That's where we're focused, North American truckload brokerage operations. And again, it's predictive pricing. So it's really looking at not what was the market doing last week, 3 days ago, 3 weeks ago, but really what is the market doing today, tomorrow, and next week, really focused on the short-term market. And what we're really giving to our customers is a personalized prediction that is really based on their company and their individual buying power and buying behavior in the market as compared to the market conditions, right? So kind of leveraging those two things through big data, AI, and machine learning.
Very nice, very nice. I've talked to you a few times offline and on my podcast about dynamic pricing. And I say this not just to be nice, but I feel like we're in a place of haves and have-nots when it comes to logistics. I think companies that are leveraging the technology that's out there, like dynamic pricing, are going to win. And I think the rest are not going to win. I mean, and we can do it the old-fashioned way, which is I go down the hall and I ask, hey, you've done that lane a few times. How much should that cost? The tribal knowledge way. And you can still have your tribal knowledge, but why not have tribal knowledge along with some pricing that has gone through AI and machine learning that says, here is the right price to charge. Here's what you should pay.
That's absolutely right, Joe. And when you and I first started talking about this a couple of years ago, it was a very different freight market than it is today, right? We were seeing historically high rates. Capacity was really constrained. The market has really turned now, but having this type of technology and business intelligence really is even more important maybe in this type of down market than it was in the market that we were seeing 2 years ago with the high prices, right? And, back then it was about how do I make sure I don't lose money? Now it is how am I capturing as much business as possible because there's less business to go around. So how do I improve my win rate and how do I make sure I'm making the maximum margin on the business that I do win, right? And we've seen with our customers year over year improvements in all of those metrics. And, I think it's a productivity issue too. Unfortunately, we see a lot of companies laying people off right now, going to more lean operations, and having a solution like this allows you to kind of take some of that knowledge of that 10, 15, 20-year veteran, the person down the hall that you would go to and say, how would you price this lane? And really help more of your less experienced people get the same level of knowledge at their fingertips.
Yep. So you guys had big news. That's why I'm talking to you today.
Do.
So what is the big news?
Today is a very exciting day for us. We have actually just announced that we have completed a Series A $5 million funding round with Tiger Global, who is, who is, one of the largest tech investors with, over 100, I think over 175 unicorns in their portfolio. And my goal is to be their next unicorn. But it's a really exciting opportunity for us. We weren't even really shopping to raise investment money at this point. We had started having the discussion about when is the right time to raise. I mean, there's so much uncertainty in the economy right now, but it was really based on the traction that we have in the market, our financial performance, and just being a market disruptor, that Tiger Global, who was the lead investor in our seed round just 10 months ago, really stepped forward and said that they would like to double down and invest more in us to help us really accelerate our growth.
Yeah, and that's crazy when you think about what's happening. We're big layoffs happening, even at big established companies, maybe especially big established companies. But before we hit record, we talked about, there's been a lot of VC money that was pretty easy to get in recent years, and that's all slowed down to a trickle. And I got to think a lot of venture capital and private equity, all sorts of investors are like, hold up, I don't know what's going on in this crazy space. A lot of money going out, not a lot of money being made yet. And for a company to say, yeah, I'd like to invest in a new technology is crazy. And it speaks to just what you said. You guys are doing well.
Yeah, I thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. It's very exciting. I mean, of course, I was proud of what we were doing anyway. I think, our customers are happy they sell for us. But I think having, as you said, a company like Tiger and in the current market conditions really double down on their investment and their belief in us as a company is something to be even more proud of than I was coming into today, of the whole company, the whole team.
Excellent. So what are you guys going to spend all that money on?
Yeah, it's not an open checkbook, but look, before raising this money, as I said, we didn't have to raise the money. We still had plenty of cash on hand from our previous raise. Um, and we were really focused on profitability. We were on track to be profitable at the end of this year. We made some calculated decisions and decided to double down on marketing in Q4 of this year, which kind of prolonged achieving that cash positive or profitability. That is still the path, though. Regardless of this investment, we are going to spend wisely, with the primary goal of let's getting to cash positive as soon as we can, just from the unit economics of it. But what this money really allows us to do is, doesn't change our strategy. It doesn't change what we're going to do. It just allows us to accelerate it and do it much faster, and gives us a little bit of
Very nice.
cushion in this market condition. So we're going to stay focused, at least for the short to midterm, on the North American truckload spot freight market, and just really continue innovating in our algorithms and our decision support tools, elevating our solution to not just be an operational tool, but a strategic, to your point, must have for these operations that really ties together those strategic decisions with the operational, or operationalizing those strategic decisions, and looking to grow out in adjacent areas there.
So we had, when you were on my podcast before, I think you said there's 17,000 freight brokers. And then I had an email exchange with you and Turvo about 17,000 freight brokers, because they heard you say it and they heard me repeat it. And since then, I've heard somebody say, no, there's 20,000. And I heard somebody say 22,000. And I don't know if they're growing because of the capacity, but the number doesn't really matter. What interests me is last time we talked, you said, yeah, there might be 17,000, might be 20,000, but how many are using dynamic pricing right now?
Oh, very few. I mean, I would say the ones that have made the investment in this level of data science and technology are really just some of the largest, most well-funded. I mean, there are some smaller to medium-sized businesses that before Greenscreens had made some own in their own investment in their own technology. But our goal as a company is, as we've discussed in the past, Joe, is to democratize big data and technology for the masses, right? Beyond just the biggest of the big. And today, our customers, we have customers that are startup brokerages at revenue $1. We have a startup package that we offer for them, whereas they grow, so does the capabilities they're using in our solution. We have customers that are many hundreds of millions of dollars, near $1 billion. But we're also starting to engage with some of the $1 billion plus companies that have invested in building this technology for themselves, that are realizing that it's hard, it's expensive to maintain and keep up with, and they're realizing that they're always going to be limited to their own data, right? So how do we get into more of that collaborative big data aggregation? And that's really what we're all about here at Greenscreens.
Right. So there's those couple, I'll call a couple dozen or 100 people at the very top who've been, some of them are unicorns, some are established players who've spent hundreds of millions of dollars to get dynamic pricing. Now I can start a freight brokerage, or, have my existing freight brokerage and say, I'm using, let's just say, I know you guys are partnered with a lot of TMS, and I just say, hey, I want that. and you give me the code and I'm connected. There's no long integration, uh, no $50 million in 20 weeks of in implementation work, right? Or integration work.
100%. So for our startup package, we will have a customer in a working environment within 2 to 3 business days. For the customers that are more established, where we are training an ML model, a machine learning model right at the beginning and doing a little bit more of the data science, it's still only about a 30-day implementation. And most of that time is really tweaking and tuning the data cleansing filters more than anything else, so that we don't corrupt the algorithm with potentially dirty data. But we're generally hitting the success criteria of the project within the first 2 weeks of the project.
Right, right. And so you're taking the data that they already have, their data, and putting it through machine learning, AI, and basically giving them a price that's instant. So if somebody says Atlanta to Chicago, this much, this day, it just gives price right now.
Yeah, we give them a few things though. Actually, we give them a price, as I said, that is personalized to them based on their buying power in the current market. We also show them what the current market rate is based on our aggregated data of all of the 70 customers we have in our network, so they can see how their buying power compares to the market. We also give them a suggested sell price. So at what price should they be then selling this freight to the customer based on this optimized buy rate? And then we're also giving the end user a lot of decision support tools, right? So, what do they say? Teach a man to fish, or whatever the saying is, right? We don't just want to spit out a price and say, here it is. We really want to kind of give them some decision support tools that help them understand the whys and the hows, and what carriers in their network might they want to reach out to get that price, right?
Excellent. So you guys are already partnered with a lot of the transportation management systems. Can you mention any of
Oh,
them?
sure. At risk of missing some, but let's see. We've got Aljex. We've got Descartes Aljex. We have got Rose Rocket. We have got Turvo. We have got TIE. We have got 3G TMS. We've got Omnis, and we've got Freight Management Systems. And oh my goodness, for my partners, I hope I didn't just miss anybody, but I think I got
I'll
everybody.
put if you give me the list, I'll put it in the
Okay,
show notes so
awesome.
people can look at
But
that.
we want to be integrated with every TMS out there. So, that is our goal, is to proliferate. And, some of our customers have their own proprietary system that we also integrate with.
Oh
And
wow.
even for those that we're not pre-integrated with, like a plug and play integration, it is super easy to integrate our product with any TMS that's out there.
Right. So can you mention any of the guys you're working with already? I mean, the
From
brokers?
a customer perspective, sure. So our very first customer was NFI. They were a beta customer for us from the beginning. We have some great customers: ARL Networks, LGI, GLS is a customer, Summit 11, Yellow Logistics, Giltner, R2, Priority One, Trident. I could go on and on. And again, I'm sorry to my customers if I missed any of you, but we do it. We have 70 customers on our system today. We have about
So if somebody says, I want to get to work with you guys, but I want to see some reference customers, they'd be like, yeah, that's not a
not a
problem.
problem. We have video testimonials out on our LinkedIn page and on our website, but we're happy to make those introductions. Our customers are really our best salespeople. It's been quite fun.
Well, let's wrap this bad boy up, Don. I'll give you the final word. So give us some of your final thoughts on today's big announcement and what's going on over at Greenscreens.
So yeah, look, I couldn't be more excited or more proud of our team and what we've done here in really a relatively short amount of time. The company has only existed for just over 2 years. The product has only been in the market for 18 months, with the majority of our growth really coming in the last 10 to 11 months. So I am super excited and super proud. As I said, particularly given the current economic situation, to have a lead investor come forward and say, we believe in you, we want to double down on you and your team, and really giving us the ability to, as I said, accelerate our growth, add more value for our customers more quickly. Again, it doesn't change our focus or our strategy. We will continue to focus on our core market and doing one thing extremely well, which is predictive pricing, dynamic pricing for our brokers. It's just going to allow us to accelerate the value add that we provide to them.
Excellent, excellent. So how do we reach out and talk to someone from Greenscreens.ai, not .com?
Not .com, .ai. So of course our website is Greenscreens.ai. We have a LinkedIn page that we're very active at. Again, linked Greenscreens.ai, or you can always reach out to us at sales@Greenscreens.ai by email.
I'll put a link in the show notes so people can reach out and talk to you guys. And Dawn, thank you so much for coming on, talking and sharing your big news with us today.
Well, and thank you for having us. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes. And thank all of you for listening to my podcast. Your support's very much appreciated. Until next time, onward and upward.
You've been listening to the Logistics of Logistics podcast, where we engage in conversation with experts in the logistics field. For more details, visit thelogisticsoflogistics.com or follow Joe Lynch on LinkedIn.